Mr. Beat presents Supreme Court Briefs.
Castle Rock, Colorado, June 4th, 1999. Jessica Lenahan Gonzales gets a restraining order against her husband, Simon. Though the two had long been separated, she got the restraining order because he had been stalking her. The order said Simon could not go within 100 yards of Jessica or her 4 children, except during a specific visitation time. On June 22nd, Simon violated the order and abducted 3 of the children, the 3 who were his biological daughters, aged 7, 9, and 10. Jessica called the Castle Rock police several times and visited the police station in person, desperately trying to get them to look for and arrest Simon.
For 10 hours, I contacted them 3 times in person and 7 times over the phone.
However, the police refused, telling her to just wait to see if he would return the children. They justified not looking for Simon by saying that he had told Jessica he was taking them to an amusement park. And like I said, Simon was indeed occasionally allowed to take the children for small amounts of time. Well, in the early hours of June 23rd, Simon showed up to the Castle Rock police station with a gun he had purchased just a few hours before. He burst in and started shooting. The police returned fire and killed him. They then searched his vehicle, where they found all 3 daughters dead. Simon had apparently murdered them before he got to the police station. Gonzales sued the city of Castle Rock, its police department, and the 3 police officers who didn't attempt to find her estranged husband after she pleaded with them to do so. She argued their inaction directly not only led to the deaths of her 3 daughters, but specifically went against the due process clause of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. However, the United States District Court for the District of Colorado dismissed the case, saying the Castle Rock police had qualified immunity, which means those working on behalf of the government are not liable for bad things happening unless those working on behalf of the government clearly went against a constitutional right. So Gonzales appealed to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. They agreed with the lower court regarding the inaction of Castle Rock police with regards to the due process clause. However, they did say Gonzales had a, quote, protected property interest in the enforcement of the terms of her restraining order. In other words, there could be a good argument that you could sue the local government for failing to actively enforce your protection of the property you own. There was still hope for Gonzales, but Castle Rock appealed to the Supreme Court, which heard oral arguments on March 21st, 2005. The big question was, can someone who has a restraining order sue a local government if that local government doesn't actively enforce the order? The court said no. On June 27th, 2005, it announced it had sided with Castle Rock. It was 7-2. The court said the Constitution didn't protect the property interest of Gonzales and the enforcement of the restraining order. The police were not obligated to act. They didn't have to help her, yo. Justice Antonin Scalia wrote the majority opinion, stating that in order for Gonzales to have, quote, property interest with something as abstract as a restraining order, she would have needed a, quote, legitimate claim of entitlement, because enforcement of her restraining order was not mandatory under Colorado state law. That legitimate claim of entitlement simply was not there. I guess Gonzales chose to live in the wrong state, am I right? Look, our hands are tied. Mostly because of the horrific nature of the case, Town of Castle Rock v. Gonzales remains one of the most controversial Supreme Court decisions in recent decades. In 2011, the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights condemned the decision. Critics have argued that it basically says it's okay for the police to ignore restraining orders. Decided on a technicality, it's easy to understand why this decision is so unsettling to so many when it began with police refusing to enforce a restraining order and learning that them actually enforcing that restraining order could have prevented the murder of 3 children. I'll see you for the next Supreme Court case, jury. Yeah, this case was sad. And I immediately thought of it after the recent mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. You may remember the police failed to do their jobs, frankly. They could have gone in and saved lives if they did their jobs. However, there will likely not be any consequences for the Uvalde police who did not act. I hope you've learned from this series it's really difficult to even sue the police in the first place. Still, do you agree with the court in this case? Let me know down below, and stay safe out there.